Hi, I'm Marci Degman, the aspiring gardener, and today I'm going to talk about controlling wild blackberry. Now I'm going to show you two kinds of blackberries today. One is going to be a native blackberry and one is going to be a transplant. Now most people that have really large, out of control blackberries have the Himalayan blackberry, which is pretty much rampant across North America. Now this one is the one that creates the great big fields like this of huge shrubs and is really tough to control. Now what we've done with this one, right here we've mowed it to keep it back because this is property that I don't own. So in order to keep them back, we mow and mow and mow. And what happens once you mow them is the little ones try to come up and you keep them down and pretty soon they die out. But when you want to start attacking a big mound like this, you've got to get the canes, and that's pretty hard to do with a mower. So there's a couple of ways to do that. Some people like to bring in goats. And what you have to remember is goats do not eat the canes. They eat all the leaves, they eat the berries, and you still have to take care of the canes. And the best way to do it is a machete. So there really is no easy way to get rid of them. The other way some people like to combat them is they'll use the goats or wait till the foliage dies back and they can see the canes, and they'll take chemicals and go and just spot touch each cane. Because if you use spray, you're going to spray everything else you don't want. It's going to drift into other plants. But you have to remember that even if you decide to use chemicals, you're still going to have to deal with blackberries because these little guys throw a lot of seeds off every year. So you want to get them before the berries come out and before the flowers come out so you can avoid the seed, because the seed's going to travel all over your property. So there's several different things you need to do. So you can use the goats, or again, if you choose to use chemicals, it's still not a one-time fix and you don't want to overdo it. Spot each little cane. Don't spray the whole area and get chemicals everywhere. And you'll have to use tougher chemicals and make sure blackberries are listed before you use it, or you'll spray a bunch of things for nothing. So what we did is we went in, we hacked them all down, and we just did it over and over. And once you get them down low, just mow them and mow them with your mower. And if they can't make food with their foliage, they will die out. And eventually, when all the seedlings have popped up, then you'll get them under control. But it will be a lifelong battle, and you have to keep doing it. So that's how you try to control the Himalayan blackberry. Now here I have both blackberries side by side, and as you can see, the Himalayan, even when it's small, starts to stand up and it's real stiff. So you may not be able to tell by the leaves because they're very similar. But if you look over here, you'll see just how the Rubus ursinus, the native blackberry, is not as aggressive. It lays on the ground. It has really skinny little canes. So although I like to get that under control as well, it's not a big fear. It doesn't like grow up the trees and grow into big thickets. But what you can do with this one is you can just take pruners and you can actually just cut the canes. It's pretty hard to use a machete because it's laying on the ground. And if you do that, and you just do that whenever you see one, you'll keep it pretty much under control. But this one will never become so invasive that it's a problem in the woods. The leaves are very similar. Now you also may have found a blackberry that crawls on the ground with really cut leaves. Well, that's a European one that's come over as well. It's not as aggressive as the Himalayan, but you would control that the same way as you control the native one. So you either got to hack with a machete or prune, and you got to be diligent, and you got to have a good pair of leather gloves because you can't just do this once and be done. You have to be persistent to get rid of blackberries.